Please, can I have your attention? Welcome to the first annual Beacon Awards, and please welcome to the stage one of your co-hosts for the evening, Dr. Mehmet Oz.
Welcome, everybody. So my main duty is to make sure that we stay on schedule, so I'll try to do that in a dutiful fashion. But just a quick couple of questions. How many of you Googled something today? Right? Created by immigrants. How many of you have an iPhone? Or more importantly, how many of you own Apple stock? Right? Adopted set of Armenian immigrants. Yahoo, have you looked there for the news anymore? Some of us do. Taiwanese immigrant. eBay, you ever find the most favorite precious thing you ever got on eBay? Pierre Modar, immigrant, actually from Iran. And WhatsApp, which is sort of the competing messaging service, from an immigrant, Ukrainian American, but a Ukrainian immigrant. And these are just an example of some of the remarkable technologies that we've been blessed to have prosper in this country, because we have not just the diversity, which is an interesting word because diversity means divide. It's really more about variety that we have in America. And what you'll hear about tonight, and the people we're going to honor, aren't being honored because they're tolerated. They're honored because they make us a lot stronger. And my request to all of you is that brainstorm and think carefully about how we're going to change the narrative around immigration. The Ellis Allen Honors Society, and Nasser Kazmani is here, the chairman of that group, will speak a bit about how important it is in celebrating people who've accomplished a lot in their lives. But we're here to accomplish people who are already accomplishing a lot at a young age and are shaping the future. And it's that narrative that we're tasked with addressing. So, hashtag EI Honors. Find a way of talking about this anywhere you are, including on social media, but take your time as you do it to think about the right words that make a difference. And with that in mind, let me introduce my co-host for the evening. He's a member of the New York State Broadcasters Hall of Fame, an author, multiple Emmy Award-winning journalist, and a senior correspondent for WPIX TV, but he's an icon. Please welcome Marvin Scott.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oz. I really appreciate that introduction. And thank all of you for joining us tonight. For me, it's an honor to be one of your hosts for the very first annual Beacon Awards. Tonight what we're going to do is going to recognize some of the best and the brightest young Americans in this country. I should mention one international recipient as well. Now, these awards, they're unique because all of our honorees are immigrants, or they're first or second generation Americans, and they're all under 40 years of age. God bless them. They have been nominated from all over the country, and many have traveled far to be here with us in this cold city tonight. But the warmth is all in this room, of course. We believe that they are our next generation of leaders, and we want to celebrate them for their accomplishments and certainly encourage their great work. Now, since this is an award for a younger generation, I just want to say to them, honorees, you're all mad savage. For real, I'm keeping this totally 100. This place is lit, right, fam? I guess some of you got it. Am I being too extra? Well, we older folks might not get it, but what I was saying is that we have great respect for our honorees, and we have a fantastic evening in store for them and all of us. So yes, we're recognizing our honorees for their youth, their contributions as Americans, whether they're immigrants themselves or the children or grandchildren of immigrants. These awards are meant to show a side of the immigration narrative that is so often lost in the rhetoric we hear every day on the news, sadly, and we also read on the internet. So we want to change that narrative, and we want to promote the many successful, accomplished Americans who are part of a larger immigrant diaspora. Throughout our nation's history, immigrants have achieved innumerable successes, benefiting themselves, their families, and their communities as well. Now, did you know that 40% of today's Fortune 500 had a first or second generation American among their founders? In fact, without immigrants and their direct progeny, the Fortune 500 would probably be the Fortune 284. All told, these immigrant-founded companies created $5 trillion in global revenue in 2016 alone, and they employed more than 12 million workers worldwide. So, as we've been saying in our Instagram posts, immigrants work for America. The Beacon Awards were founded and are presented by two incredible organizations, Ellis Island Honor Society and the American Immigrant Society. To give credit, that's due to Dr. Oz, who sits on both boards, and he was instrumental in making tonight happen. Here's the Dr. Oz. The Ellis Island Honor Society is the sponsor of the Ellis Island Medals of Honor, which has been presented to accomplished and philanthropic Americans for 33 years. For me, it's a particular honor to be the Master of Ceremonies of this prestigious event for the past 25 years. I look forward to being back there and seeing many of you on Ellis Island at our gala this coming May. Our other presenting organization is the American Immigrant Society, which was established to humanize, celebrate, empower, promote as well, and inform the over 45 million immigrants and their 36 million first-generation offspring living in the United States. What are their goals? The goal is to create digital, virtual network of like-minded immigrants and friends of immigrants. Now, you can learn more about these great nonprofit organizations online. So when you see the hashtags, Twitter, Instagram, and Instagram handles on the screens behind me, be sure to follow us and stay involved, become part of this growing, vibrant community. Right now, I have the pleasure of introducing one of my dearest friends, the Ellis Island Honor Society Chairman, Nasser J. Kazemini. As we all know, he is a well-known philanthropist who believes it is far, far better to give than to receive. Big heart, deep pockets. These are many causes close to his heart. And as a proud Iranian American, immigrants and the role they play in American culture is especially important to him. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Nasser J. Kazemini, our chairman. The mic is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Marvin, thank you so much. Marvin has been the voice of Ellis Island Honor Society for past 25 years. And this year, we are so lucky to have America's doctor, Dr. Mehmet Oz. And we're grateful for his initiative and what he's done since he's been on our board. He has rejuvenated the entire board. Very grateful, Mehmet. Thank you for what you do. And also, I have to thank the chairman of AIS, Murat Kupulu. He has been an amazing guy, has spent a great deal of time working with us and partnering with us. We're delighted to have you and your beautiful wife. Thank you. Governor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to welcome you to our first annual Beacon Awards ceremony. Tonight, we celebrate a group of truly impressive young people. These are the next generation of civic leaders, entrepreneurs, and cultural movers and shakers. Our honorees are the brightest brain in science, medicine, law, entertainment, and technology. They all have different talents, but they all have one thing in common. They use their extraordinary skills to give back to America. And that's why we all are here tonight to honor these amazing young people. Congratulations. So far this evening, we have discussed the more obvious things immigrants and their children bring to America. The economic impact they create, the entrepreneurship, their scientific and educational achievement, and more. But we haven't talked about the other things they bring that are just as important. Since the founding of Ellis Island, even further back, immigrants have brought their courage, ambition, strong work ethics, and appreciation for family and community, and most importantly, a deeply felt desire for peace and freedom. These ideals, built into the foundation of this country by our founders, are what attracted the brave and determined for generations. They were an infusion of new strength to this nation, and they became the backbone and workforce that built this very city and helped create this great nation. Honorees, you all have the blood of mavericks, dreamers, risk-takers. You inherited the American spirit from your forebears. In this 20th century, you are building this city, this country. You are impacting this nation. Let this award serve you as an inspiration and reminder of those who came before you and the responsibility you have to them and their memory. Ellis Island Honor Society is proud to sponsor of the Beacon Awards. We are also the sponsor of Ellis Island Medal of Honors, which recognizes American citizens for their lifetime contribution to America. Medalists, honorees, I'll be delighted if every one of you tonight, honorees, would also one day proudly wear the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. And believe me, I will be looking for each and every one of you to see what you're doing, and I'd like to have you to become the medal recipient of Ellis Island. President Ronald Reagan, who in 1984 initiated the founding of Ellis Island Honor Society, said, "You can live in Japan, but you never become Japanese. You can live in France, and you never become French." The same for Germany and Italy. But he added, anybody from any corner of the world can come to America and become an American. Ladies and gentlemen, that very truth is what makes America the greatest country on the planet Earth, a beacon of hope and freedom for each and every one of us. Honorees, you have all done amazing things in your young lives and are on a path to do much more. Please accept this award as a symbol of our respect and acknowledgement for your amazing accomplishment, and never lose the determination and commitment to excellence you have shown in your lives. Congratulations, honorees. My gratitude to you, to each and every one of you. I wish you all a happy and healthy New Year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chairman Casamini. Very, very poignant words, particularly I was noticing as I was listening in the backdrop of that lady in the harbor there, illuminating tonight as we celebrate immigration and we celebrate the honorees here. So thank you for those words, Mr. Chairman. Very well put. Anyway, I'd also like to thank our major corporate sponsor, PepsiCo Foundation. They are really good friends. They are really good friends of the Ellis Island Honor Society, where they are proud to count their former CEO, Indra Nui, as an Ellis Island Medals of Honor recipient. Now, when PepsiCo learned of the Beacon Awards, they wanted to be a part of this as well. So glad they wanted to. The PepsiCo Foundation is in the philanthropic arm of PepsiCo, and they're committed to several international causes, especially nutrition, supporting women's initiatives, and providing sustainable clean water internationally. So we thank them for their support, and we look forward to having them with us again next year. Now, let's turn to the reason we're all here tonight, the honorees. We haven't forgotten them. I've given you a lot of facts and figures to digest, but we also want to get to the heart of the issue. We want to hear from the honorees themselves and give them an opportunity to share their thoughts and their experiences. You know, we had a video team. We had them create 3 short videos based on interviews they held with our honorees over the past 2 weeks. Now, of course, since setting up appointments is so 2010, we caught them any way we could, mostly by some inventive Skype sessions. And I think our team did a great job. Our honorees, they were really eloquent and very moving. So let's take a look at our first video.
Whether you're an actual immigrant or you're a child of immigrants or a grandchild, I think in this country, everybody has this experience of being new. It's a really young country, only a few hundred years old. Living in Philly, I'm acutely aware of that. People are always talking about Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson, and you have this feeling that you're standing on the shoulders of the people before you.
What America has always represented to my family has been a very unique place, unlike any other in the world, that brings together people from all over the world in search of success, in search of identity, in search of community. And the ideals of making a better life for themselves, making a better life for their families, but also really exposing themselves to a new world of thinking.
Sometimes we're in our own little bubble, in places like New York or Boston or LA, or you pick your city, without realizing just how much more of the US there is. I do believe in that underlying spirit and that underlying faith is across the board. And sometimes you'll have those who have the least amount have the most faith and have the most tolerance and have the most respect and reverence, which is really powerful, and it should teach some of the rest of us a lesson on what real America really is.
You know, if you ask my dad, I'm a pretty Americanized Iranian, but if you ask my friends, I'm still very much in touch with my culture. I still try to learn about it. I certainly try and educate people about it. It's real easy to say, I don't see color, I don't see differences, everybody's the same, but it's better to say, no, we're not all the same. We all have different experiences, we all have different backgrounds, but why don't we celebrate that and learn from that?
It's the people that are passionate and that have what it takes to really push forward, to learn what they don't know yet, and to make mistakes and learn from those as well. It's up to us to provide that opportunity and those resources and mentorship which they need to overcome some of the barriers that they may face initially. You can expand the size of the pie and the value grows for all.
Well, I view America as a land of opportunity, which many people do, and the type of people that come to the U.S. for that opportunity are people that are really go-getters, very outgoing people who want to make a difference. They take their education and the benefits of the USA that are given to them seriously, and they value their contributions that they can make joining the labor force here. Growing up with my father, who immigrated from Russia, and my mom, those strong values of giving back, it's really played a role in my life and inspired me to help as much as I can and be involved in philanthropic endeavors.
After the tragedy in Pittsburgh, I was very upset, and I wanted to do something good. And I thought that my initial reaction was that I was going to donate a little money myself to the congregation, but then I decided to start this GoFundMe because I realized that there are a lot of people who feel upset like me and want to do something positive, and the campaign went viral and raised $1.25 million.
My grandfather actually immigrated to this country through Ellis Island, and my grandmother, unfortunately, was a victim of the Holocaust, lost every family member and friend during the war, and had somewhat of a unique and bittersweet ending to her story in that she ended up marrying the U.S. American Army intelligence officer that liberated her. Her name is Gerda Weissman Klein, and we co-founded Citizenship Counts together, which is a national nonprofit, and our mission simply is to inspire pride in America.
First, I'd like to recognize Alyssa Cooper, Executive Director and co-founder of Citizenship Counts.
Good evening, everyone. I am humbled to be honored here this evening with the prestigious Beacon Award with all the other incredible innovators and change makers. Thank you to the Ellis Island Honor Society and the American Immigrant Society for establishing this award and for its steadfast commitment to promoting the achievements of immigrants and their contributions to our diverse and dynamic country. I would not be standing here tonight if it wasn't for my own personal hero, my grandmother, Gerda Weissman Klein. At age 84, she desired to create something to give back to this country on behalf of all of the privileges and opportunities that she has received since becoming a naturalized citizen. In 2008, together we co-founded Citizenship Counts with its overreaching mission simply to inspire pride in America, starting with students. I would like to quickly acknowledge a few people here. My parents, Vivian and Jim Ullman, for their unwavering support and love throughout my entire life. My sister and best friend, Lindsay, whose business acumen I hope to emulate. And finally, to my incredible husband, Adam. We met on a blind date 6 years ago today. Unfortunately, he's unable to be here this evening. His military service and dedication to our country inspires me every day in both my personal and professional life. And it's just truly magical to be standing here with the Statue of Liberty behind me, which is a symbol, a beacon of hope and promise for each and every one of us in this room. Thank you.
Alyssa Cooper, congratulations. Our next honoree I'd like to call forward, please, is Sarah Aliabadi, the Assistant United States Attorney, District of New Jersey.
Hi, everyone. It's such an honor to be sharing the stage with so many incredible, accomplished people. Thank you to everybody who's involved with the Beacon Awards, to my family, to my friends, and to my colleagues for all the support over the years. We live in an amazing country. Let's continue to keep it amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Aliabadi. Next, I'd like to recognize Dr. Goli Samini.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much to the Ellis Island Society and to the American Immigrant Society for this tremendous honor. It really is humbling to be in this room with all these people. I need to thank oh my God, really? That's dumb. I need to thank my parents and my sister who support all of my decisions, even when it means moving to the other side of the world. And let's leave it at that. Thank you.
Dr. Goli Samini, Program Director, National Cancer Institute. Jamal Madni, please come forward. Managing Director, Enterprise Technology Strategy, The Boeing Company.
Thank you so much to the Ellis Island Honor Society and the American Immigrant Society for this incredible honor. As I stand here, I think of the American dream and what that means. Too often, we think of the American dream as simply an arrow to a destination, enabling our children to have a better life than their parents. Bigger home, better career, nicer cars. But it's so much more nuanced than that. To me, I see the American dream as a state of mind where we bring together preserving our history with paving our future. And above all else, I'd love to thank my parents for gifting me with that state of mind through their incredible journey from Bombay, India to Los Angeles, California. I also just love to thank the other awardees tonight for continuing to inspire. It's truly a privilege to share this stage with all of you. And may God bless all of you and your families, and may God bless Lady Liberty and her dream. Thank you.
Jamal Madhu. Our next recipient is Lauren Weiniger, co-founder and president of the SAFE Group.
Hello. So thank you so much to everyone here. I wanted to just take a few moments to dedicate this to my grandfather. He passed away very recently, but without him, I would not be here in all of the senses. He immigrated here through Ellis Island along with my grandmother and mother after surviving the Holocaust, after surviving and beating all odds to be here. And without him, I would not have ever had this kind of opportunity. And for him to see this, 2 generations later, someone who, in all respects, has all the opportunity in the world because this is a country that allows people to really create the American dream. And I guess I'm very honored to be here because I think this is a time that we can remember that origin, because I think it is what makes this country beautiful and great. So thank you.
Thank you, Lauren Weiniger. Zeki Dossel, Senior Director, Headland Shine.
I think somebody made a mistake because there's no way I could possibly be here with such an amazing group of people. I feel very, very honored. First and foremost, thank you to Wendy for believing in me and nominating me. I want to thank the Beacon Awards team and the American Honor Society, Kate and Otto and Manuel and Darren. And importantly, my parents, Amir and Tass, who are sitting over there, they've had a high bar for me on both Eastern and Western values melding, which became American values. And basically just to say, when you're at a guest's house, never put your feet on the couch. And I tried to live up to that, and hopefully I can be a fraction of what they are one day. So thank you.
And thank you, Zeki Dossel. Brooke Milstein, co-founder and chief investment officer, Milstein Capital Partners.
I would just like to say thank you so much for this honor. I'm glad to be here tonight.
Thank you, Brooke Milstein. Shay Katiri, Student Strategic Studies Program, Johns Hopkins University.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. It's obviously the first time you're having this because you made a rookie mistake inviting somebody from Washington and asking him to keep it short. You'd expect more from Senator Schumer's constituents. It's an honor to be here, and I was born and raised in Iran to Marxist-Leninist parents, and I have turned out to be a proud American by heart, even though my ID hasn't caught up yet. Just one quick thing before. I remember when September 11th happened in this very city, President Bush responded that the reason that it happened was because people did not have freedom. And I realized that I want to be part of a nation that celebrates virtue with a government that protects our ordered liberty. And that's what it means to be an American, and I'm proud to be one of it. And I'm a social scientist, so I have to give you a historical quote. This is by President Washington in a letter to Hebrew congregation of Rhode Island. It is now more that toleration is spoken of as if it were the indulgence of one class of people that another enjoyed that exercise of their inherent natural rights, for happily the government of the United States, which gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance, requires only that they who live under its protection should demean themselves as good citizens, in giving it on all occasions their effectual support. And in the words of President Lincoln, I'm honored to be a part of the last best hope of Earth.
Shay Kateri, congratulations.
Murat Köprülü and I have known each other for a good part of our lives. Murat's family is iconic in Turkey. If you read the history books, there was always a Köprülü involved, something that was going on in the Ottoman Empire. And Murat is no different. He has big ideas, he acts on them, he brings around teams that make it work. And this event is actually his brainchild. Although Nasser very kindly mentioned me, it was Murat who kept browbeating me, saying we have to get young folks involved in this process. They're the future. They'll tell the story differently in a way that resonates. So Murat, I'd like to invite you to the dais to speak a little bit about your passion and what you know of. And he actually was the CEO of the American Immigrant Society that he roped me into also. He has a very active social media presence that you should pay attention to. Murat.
Thank you, Mehmet. The only reason I sound so good coming from you is because I'm able to hang out with true geniuses like you and Nasser from time to time. That's the real reason. Let's be clear. Thank you all for being here. It's truly, truly, I mean, we've really been brainstorming this for a long time. You're very kind to give me kudos for this, but it really is a team effort that made this come together. It was just something that kept scratching and scratching. You know, what do we do to make people understand what the real narrative is for America? You know, what is it? We are celebrating immigrants, but how can we do it, right? I mean, the production of it so that it has some impact, right? And then if we get it right, we won't get it right tonight. I mean, yes, we're doing okay. By the way, we're doing so well that the Statue of Liberty, which is right outside that beautiful terrace right there, which you should go out there and check it out, even though it's 20 degrees out there, has put a little cap on her. It's the half moon. There's nothing like it. You have to take a photo. You have to go out there and take a photo. It's like Hollywood said, you guys, we're going to do this for you. Just take a look. Just take a look. It's beyond belief. That's what we're doing here tonight. We're celebrating. And you know what? We are due some celebration. We need celebration. There's so much stress in all the stuff that we hear. The stuff that we hear. And in New York, we hear more of it than most. And we hear it about people that we know. I mean, think about this. The people down there in Washington are our people. You know, they used to do research for us at investment banks. They used to eat dinner with us. You know, the President of the United States was our dinner co-chair in 2012. It was Donald this, Donald that. I mean, that's how weird all of this is. It's truly, I'm not joking. You can, right? So here we are, and as Nasser says, the real true reason what we're doing, what we're trying to do here is that, yes, indeed, we are a great country because we have this great immigrant heritage. And everybody understands that the United States is, as Nasser says brilliantly, a beacon of hope and freedom. And that's why we actually created the beacon. The beacon is an in-house creation. It's a mathematical algorithm that builds up to the beacon. And that is an algorithm where every honoree here today has actually built his or her block very slowly up to the very top, to the beacon, and they've done it in the fastest way possible. Some of them at an earlier age than others, but that's what the impact of this night is all about, that there are millions like this. They're not just us in this room, but there are actual millions of people who are doing this every day. For example, in warehouses, in Walmart, they're doing it. In farmland in Southern California, they're doing it in their own way. That's what's so amazing about all of this. That's really the impact of what we're trying to do here today. I do want to thank, before I go on, Nasser for really embracing this. Because Nasser is, above all, the man who made this possible. He said, Murad, if you believe in it firmly, I'm supporting you. Without that, none of this would have happened. And of course, Mehmet is number one also in creating the ambiance of let's make it happen, let's make it happen. The two other people that we must thank tonight are, of course, the people who made all this production possible. Without them, there would be nothing here tonight. And that's our brilliant executive director at the Ellis Island Honor Society, and I'm speaking as a board member of the Ellis Island Honor Society, Kate Haas, Monte, and our brilliant production director, Otto Koka. Without them, there's nothing that could have been done. And their entire team who filmed you the whole 9 yards, right? I mean, it's just amazing, all the 3 months of work that's gone into this. And all we know, Nasser and I, are the weekly catch-up calls, the conference calls. This night is, of course, we've talked about immigrants being everywhere in America and doing phenomenal things. As I keep saying, they are everywhere and they do things that build this country up from the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment you go to sleep, right? Immigrants are everywhere in every concert hall in America. Immigrants are in every medical research lab and university research center in America. Immigrants are in every technology R&D center in America. Immigrants are in every Amazon and Walmart warehouse, as I've mentioned. Immigrants are in every UPS and FedEx delivery area. Immigrants are in every farm. Immigrants are in every digital startup. They're in every music production studio. They're in every restaurant across America. That's what America is, right? That's what's so amazing about America. When we look at what the U.S. government is doing in the narrative with the U.S. government, currently led by a certain individual, as I say, who is well known to some of us in this room, you say to yourself, well, we know who these people are doing and we respect whatever their views are, but there is a way we can change the conversation. We can make a positive impact. We can do something that's different and unique and make a contribution to America's future in understanding how we can impact the conversation, not necessarily politically. So what I'd like to do is to have a call to action tonight. And the call to action is as part of this celebration. The call to action should be, well, what can I do, right? As an individual in this room, let's resolve to do whatever the smallest thing is that you think can be meaningful to impact the conversation in a positive light. And we know what that means, to impact the conversation. It could be like, go to that town hall meeting in Bensonhurst. Go to that town hall meeting in Hoboken, right? Crazy idea, right? But just go and do it once. Maybe you'll love it. Maybe you'll go to all of them. Take that email that you got and sign the petition. Take the poll. Put your name somewhere. Make an impact that way. You know, just engage. And do it once every 15 days, right? Just once every 15 days. And, you know, the successful habits of successful people, once you start doing it, becomes a habit. And you love it. It actually, your stressful day, everybody has that stressful day where they're all kind of, I can't believe I just heard that. Well, when you start doing stuff like this, it actually becomes a kind of, oh, wow, I can actually smile at the end of the day. It becomes a powerful thing. In fact, that really, exciting coffee you buy every morning, the $7 coffee, or the $7 happy hour beer you buy at your bar. All of you have your favorite dive bars in New York City. Forgo one of those once every 15 days and give that $7 instead to one of the immigrant-centric organizations that you like, that you appreciate. And it might be local. You might be from Houston or Seattle, right? And you say, oh, I want to do it in Houston. Well, guess what? There are dozens of immigrant-centric organizations who do the right thing in Houston and Seattle and Reno and St. Louis and everywhere, right? Or give it to the organizations that are in this room, right? Give it to the New York Immigration Coalition, which is the umbrella organization for many immigrant organizations in this city. Give it to HIAS. Remember HIAS, right? Shay is all about what a madman did in the name of HIAS bringing so-called invaders into our country. He destroyed the lives of people in that synagogue in Pittsburgh. I mean, how crazy is that? HIAS is the Hebrew International Aid Society. Hebrew International Aid Society brought millions of asylum seekers from the religious pogroms of the 1850s to the 1950s from Eastern Europe and, of course, the Nazi Holocaust. Do the things that really move you. And if 70,000 of us do $7 every 15 days, that's $500,000 every 15 days that goes to the right organizations. That's $1 million a month that goes to the right organizations. That's $12 million a year that goes to the right organizations. I mean, how powerful is that? This man, Beto O'Rourke, proved the power of that kind of small thing, right? Just doing a little bit can actually unseat an absolute, monarchy in a very red state, right? Remember? So that's what can be done here. That's what's powerful about what we do here. So I want to think about a meme, a sort of mental meme. Some of us think about this, like when you go to sleep, you want to think about, ooh, how can I feel really good about tomorrow? Think about a little sailboat that's out there, moored, right on the other side of those windows. You get in the sailboat and you sail to the Lady Liberty, right? And when you're sailing, hey, the harbor, New York Harbor, is actually very treacherous. Right now, there's a pretty heavy 15-knot wind out there. So you got to sail through that heavy, treacherous water. But guess what? You can do it. If you put it in your mind's eye, you can make the conclusion happen. You can get there from here. And if you get there from here, we're all going to get there from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Murat. Thank you for all you do. It was the late attorney Clarence Darrow who once said, an idea is a greater monument than a cathedral, and I think what you all have created with these awards and these tributes to immigrants and children of immigrants is really sensational, and I think it is so uplifting in these troubled times we have with so much division in this country. It's good to honor young people and to honor everybody who's here tonight. Thank you. Now, let's see. Where are we in the script? I think I've lost the place. All right. Want to remind you, everyone, to follow both the American Immigrant Society and the Ellis Island Honor Society on Twitter and Instagram. And I think we've gotten a little too comfortable here with all this technology, wouldn't you think? I remember when we were nervous just putting our credit card information online. Now we send our DNA through the mail. Incredible how we've advanced. But honestly, I'm not as techie savvy as I might seem up here. I thought Farmville was a rural district Trump won in 2016. Okay, let me get serious. Back to business. I hope you enjoyed your appetizer. We have more food coming for you. But I hope you had a chance to check out our silent auction downstairs. Remember, those tickets are out there for Hamilton, and also tickets to the Dr. Oz show. So say hello to some old friends, make some new ones, and enjoy the rest of this evening. That's what this night is all about, connecting people, stories, experiences. The organizers would like nothing more than for a brilliant idea or maybe an innovative startup to bloom in this very room tonight. We hope so. We certainly have the raw material. Now, we've heard from one group of our honorees. Now let's hear from our second. In this group, you'll hear some rather inspiring thoughts on giving back to our great nation. Take a look at the screen.
I think that there is an inherent immigrant hustle, that if you are willing to get on a boat or a plane and say goodbye to everything you've known, your language, your family, your heritage, your food, and get going with your life, if you have that hustle in your heart, then that spirit comes across and it adds to our nation and helps our nation embody that spirit of hustle.
I moved to New York City 2001. Doesn't speak even one word English. Couldn't find any job, and later just stay in a train station because there's a shelter on 40th Street, so a lot of people they bring food, like hot food, like stuff, so you stay in line and you just get a food and they feed you. 40th Street on 9th Avenue, it used to be like $1 pizzeria, 99-cent pizza. So I used to go over there just clean their garbage, clean the glasses. They just give me slice. From then on, I just work and save money. So I opened my first pizza shop. Like I say, you know what? I didn't give up, worked so hard, and I opened second business, third business, fourth, just like that. Every Wednesday, we bring pizza, clothes, like shoes, a lot of stuff. And there's a huge line, about 200-300 people, every Wednesday. If you're not busy, you're welcome too.
We know that no matter what the circumstances are, in almost every single environment where there's a large displacement situation, refugees find a way through, and they find a way to start rebuilding and to become contributors again. And that's incredible. For others, I think it might be surprising to find that immigrants have higher rates of entrepreneurship than just, US-born citizens, and refugees, even amongst an immigrant community, have even higher entrepreneurship rates. What we're trying to do is to help everyone see and understand that.
I got into government and politics because I saw government as a force of good at a young age. I was a dreamer. I was among the first set of students in the United States that got to go to college under the Texas version of the DREAM Act. And I saw how one single public policy changed not just my life, but the life of my entire family. Today I get to be representing PepsiCo and receiving this big award and working for a Fortune 50 company. That is the American dream. Right now we're currently watching this debate on immigration, and what gets lost are oftentimes the good stories, the people who continue to make an impact.
That is really kind of core at the heart of so much of what we try to do, which is to both invite all communities into being a part of government, being a part of their communities, accessing the things that they need, but then hopefully echoing their stories and their contributions. We do that through our We Speak program and actually creating videos that tell the stories of immigrant families navigating kind of the basics like parent-teacher conferences or getting the mental health access that they need in a telenovela style program, and that helps people learn English, which is really amazing. But also we have a volunteer corps of hundreds and hundreds of immigrants throughout the city that just want to give back.
That's a tremendous jolt of energy to America's innovation. When you get folks who are coming from completely different backgrounds and you manage it right, they're able to drive innovation in so many different ways, and that's the history of American industry. And remember, the folks who are coming here, these are the bravest of the brave. They're the ones who are willing to take that step, take that leap of faith. You get them and you get them on their feet here in America, they're going to do wonderful things, and they have done wonderful things for centuries.
I think that being a nation of immigrants, we have a lot of people that come here in search of that dream. People with those dreams and with that sense of will and drive come to our shores and really make that life for themselves here. So it serves as a beacon essentially to call and to set conditions for people to come here. I think that dream remains alive and well.
Every story of the immigrant is beautiful and rich and meaningful and filled with sacrifice, but also opportunity and hope. And I think it's important for all of us as Americans not only to honor the immigrant stories of the past that have been folded into the fabric of our country and have potentially been borne out through generations, but to honor the stories of today where they are very much still playing out for each immigrant.
And now let them speak for themselves. Let me first recognize Allison Pataki, New York Times best-selling author.
Thank you so much to our chairs and our hosts, and congratulations to all of the remarkable honorees. The best stories that I've ever heard in my life were around the kitchen table with my grandparents. My grandmother speaking about growing up in the tenements and how when illness would rip through the neighborhood, the doctors would come and make each immigrant kid take a spoonful of cod liver oil. She lived to be 101. She took it until the day she died. I don't know if it's Dr. Oz approved, but she was an early advocate of fish oil, omega-3s. Or my other grandmother who came, from Morocco by way of France as a young woman at the end of World War II, coming to America not speaking a word of English. We all here tonight grew up and were fed and raised on these stories, and each one is so remarkable and rich. And these are the stories not only of us as individuals, not only of our families, but of a country. And so this is a wonderful evening to be able to hear these stories and learn from them. And I feel inspired now, and I know we all do, to go forward and not only keep sharing our stories, but to keep asking others to share theirs and to keep listening. So thank you very much.
Allison Pataki. Rachel Gerald, co-founder and CEO of Nexus.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, and thank you to the people over at Table 4. I'm very honored to be here and to be recognized tonight. I'm honored to be recognized alongside so many people who inspire me, so many people who are part of Nexus, which is an organization I co-founded, who are winning awards tonight for the work that they're doing. So clap for all yourselves, yes. But most importantly, I think of immigrants old and new, and I think of the work that I've done to raise tens of thousands and tens of millions of dollars for the Holocaust survivors living in this country below the poverty line. And I'm really grateful that America does not forget its immigrants, whether they are new to our shores or whether they have been here since 1948. America takes care of all Americans as equals, and if that's not something we can say, it's something we should be able to say. I'm reminded of this other amazing, beautiful woman who stands in the harbor carrying a torch. And upon her, a plaque is written that says, "Bring me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free." And I want us all to close our eyes for a second and imagine what it feels like to yearn, to breathe free. Because all over the world, there are people who have that yearning. And you can open your eyes with me, because today, because of organizations like this, because of the America that we want to be proud of, we can breathe free. So thank you. Thank you to everyone. And a big thank you also to my husband, whose mother was born in a DP camp during the Holocaust, and who came here, and she breathes free. And because she came here to breathe free, I have a husband who was born here, and I get to be in love. And I'm in love with America, and I'm in love with him. So thank you.
Rachel Gerald. Hockey Octanese, owner Champion Pizza.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk a little very short because my English very bad. I'm sure no one can understand me, but I'm gonna do my best, okay? So my name is Haki Agdenis. I come to New York City 2001 with only $240 in my pocket. After a few weeks later, I become a homeless and shelter. It's named called Bowery Mission. Every day I was recycling can soda, by the way, Pepsi, and papers, all boxes, so recycle and make it for living. The life, it was very tough, but I always believe in myself. Don't give it up. I want to dedicate my time taking to advantage of every opportunity that this country was going to offer me. I work very hard every single day, and little by little, I built my American dream. Today, I am the cover of newspaper, magazine, on TVs, all social media. I built my own business name, it's called Champion Pizza. But I still remember where I come from, and I love giving back to all peoples they need, which is like shelters. At one point, 2001, I don't have money to buy one slice of pizza for months. From 2001 to 2010, which is like 8 years later, I donate over 200,000 slices in the shelters, all people they need. I definitely believe that if you work so hard, your dream one day will come true. I call this country the land of freedom, the land of opportunity, the land of become successful, seen by many immigrants. Thank you so much for having me tonight. Sorry for my English.
Haki Agdenis. How poignant was that? Rebecca Acuna, Director of Government Affairs, PepsiCo, Inc.
Thank you. What an honor. So I am carrying on my person my most prized possession, and it was something that I wasn't sure I was ever going to be able to get. This is my United States passport, because it represents, and for all of you in this room, you know how hard it was to get it, but also it represents the years of work of my parents in restaurants on their feet. And the opportunity that they have given me and my sister. So thank you, America. Thank you so much for all of the dreams. And I want to remind everyone here that there's so many of our immigrant brothers and sisters. This is all that they want right here. And I hope that we can help to make their dreams a reality too. And I'd like to thank my company, my wonderful company, PepsiCo, for nominating me, and also for personifying our values, that we can thrive as individuals and as a company while helping other individuals and our planet thrive as well. Thank you.
Rebecca Acuna. Our next recipient is Biti Mustafi, Commissioner, Mayor's Office of Immigration Affairs, New York City.
Hi, everyone. I feel really lucky to be here tonight. I'm the commissioner for the New York City Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, and thank you. And so much of my job day in and day out is to do the work that the American Immigrant Society and Ellis Island Honor Society is trying to do tonight, which is to tell the truth about immigrants and immigration in this great city and in this country, to work to promote and advance the well-being of all New Yorkers, regardless of status, when they came here or how they came here. And I feel incredibly privileged, particularly in this moment in time, to be able to do that work day in and day out, and to see the response of Americans broadly to crisis moments where you see families separated at the border, to the threat to take away the future for our dreamers, and Americans kind of rising up and fighting back, reaching out to my office and asking how they can help and support, and really symbolizing that beacon and really wanting to fight on behalf of their fellow Americans, which is how they see all immigrants in this country. And I'm so proud of that work and the ability to do it. And I think so many of you tonight are symbols of why it's so important to side by side tell these stories, to make sure that we don't shy away from our history and where we come from, but we celebrate that, the diversity of that, and we remind and teach our neighbors and our friends and our loved ones what we can be and who we can be, both here in New York as a city, but as a country, when we work together, when we love one another, and we see our futures tied hand in hand. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing, and I look forward to working together with you.
Vita Mustofi. Our next honoree is Stephen Choi, Executive Director, New York Immigration Coalition.
Good evening, everybody. First, I want to thank Nasir Kazemini, Dr. Oz, and of course my good friend Murat Koprolu for this incredible honor. It's really poignant because just 2 years ago, almost exactly 2 years ago, I stood out there on a cold January gray afternoon in front of 25,000 people. And it was a moment that I'll never forget. And the reason I was there was because 2 days earlier, on January 27th, 2017, Donald Trump signed into law the Muslim ban, preventing immigrants and visitors from 6 Muslim-majority countries from coming to the United States. And so that was 4:42 p.m. on a Friday, and later that day we heard that people were being detained at JFK. And the very next day we heard that dozens of people were being detained at JFK of all places. And so hundreds of people started to go there, and by the time, because they realized that there was something so fundamentally un-American about that Muslim ban. And by the time I made my way down there were 10,000 people. And imagine what an incredible accomplishment that is, because nobody actually goes to JFK of their own accord. But that day, 10,000 people showed up there, and 2 days later, we put up a call. 25,000 people came to Battery Park to protest the Muslim ban. It's a moment that I'll never forget. And so it's incredibly important that I'm here tonight receiving this honor. And I just want to say, we have Lady Liberty in this harbor right here. But I tell you that the uniquely American promise that she represents of liberty and freedom and opportunity is under threat like it never has been before. So I ask that you join the New York Immigration Coalition in standing up for and empowering immigrants, not just here in New York, but all across this country. If you want to be part of our fight, please text NYIC to 864-237, and thank you once again for everything that you do.
Thank you, Stephen Choi. John Kluge, founder, Refugee Investment Network.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much to the Ellis Island Honor Society and the American Immigrant Society. Thank you to my good friend Wendy Diamond over there at table 6. And thank you very much to my beloved wife, Christine, who, without her research and her work in the field studying forced migration, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today, which is unfortunate considering, in some ways, the legacy that I have to fulfill. In 1922, my father walked through the gates of the island just across the water there as an 8-year-old boy, literally with the clothes on his back. He has lived the American dream experience. He has embodied Horatio Alger. And I think we all too take for granted what that means. The work that I do today supporting refugees across the world is a direct result of his lived experience as an American immigrant. If we think about the contributions that immigrants have made today and the incredible contributions yet to be made of the awardees tonight, we have to take into consideration the untapped potential of refugees who, by and large, are a shoulder above most of us who are immigrants or the children of immigrants. Refugees do have higher rates of entrepreneurship. They have higher rates of creditworthiness, no matter what country you come from. There is a deep sense of resilience and gratitude. And so if there's one thing I would like to leave this room with tonight, is this idea that we have not just a responsibility, but an opportunity to pay it forward. And the best way we can do that is by paying it forward to the people that will carry that work the farthest and the fastest. And that's with those who've been forcibly displaced. So thank you so much for this great honor, and I look forward to working with you all.
John Coogey. Our next honoree is Justin Free, Esquire, Chief Operating Officer, Cyber, founder and president of Guardians of Freedom Memorial Foundation.
You know, a lot of these are very tough to follow, so I'll keep it concise. Want to thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. It's incredibly humbling and a big honor to receive this award. Lots been said about the fellow recipients, and the bios are all there in the book to read about. I'd like to just say a few words about some of the friends and family that are here that allowed these people to grow up with the right set of role models and leaders to achieve these great things in their field, because these are the bios and the backgrounds you won't read about in the book. Thanks so much to the people out here in the audience that inspired these people to become the best selves they could be, to grow, to learn, to help others, to care and respect others, and to do the best they could to make their part of the world a little bit better. You know, as being the token in the book that's the only person I think that's foreign military, I have to say, I look around the room and I see the silent professionals that wore the cloth of our nation in the military, in law enforcement, three-letter agencies, and have done countless deeds that no one in this room will ever hear about to close with and destroy and keep our enemies at bay, to allow us to have a nice evening like this in New York City, which will always remain a target because of the freedom it represents and the beacon in the harbor. Thank you especially to the husbands and wives, the parents that raised the children that are up here to receive this award and created the love and the conditions that allowed them to achieve. Thank you so much. God bless America. God bless each of you.
It's been a huge part of our family and a huge part of our culture as a family to understand that we are a melting pot. You know, as a chef, I always think of things in food terminology. We're a stew. We're a soup. We a little splash of this, sprinkle of that, and it's all those flavors that make our lives so interesting, so compelling, so dynamic, so aware of the incredible benefit that we have from being here, but also of the history and the heritage that we brought with us.
It sounds really cliche, but I think every single day we encounter multiple situations in which we can just be considerate, kind people. My dad was a refugee in 3 countries. So he first was born in the Congo, left the Congo due to political situations and moved to Uganda. In Uganda in '72, all the non-nationals were kicked out, and he then immigrated to Chile, where in '74 Allende had another similar type of regime. And stories that my father sort of has told me just about his upbringing have really instilled in me a sense of trying to make the world around me a better place.
When you're coming here from another country, especially for a lot of these entrepreneurs, it's all or nothing, right? I mean, it's that hunger to survive that led to this culture of entrepreneurship. I mean, even just the idea of moving across the world is a very entrepreneurial concept. So many times you hear the story of immigrants who come with truly, $10, $20 to their name, and was able to work their way up and create something in a culture that celebrates entrepreneurship. My dad got the bug working for Bill Gates at Microsoft, right? And that seeing Bill build Microsoft inspired him to start his own company, and me seeing my dad and others start companies inspired me to start my own company. It is more important than ever that we embrace this concept of entrepreneurship as a country and embrace immigrants as a driver of that. In fact, just to put some perspective, almost 50% of tech companies today in Silicon Valley have at least one immigrant co-founder.
Working so much with Latin Americans and other countries, I think there's this almost great respect and love for the United States as a place where anyone from anywhere can come to and have the opportunity to be successful. And so when you look at certain countries, it's much harder to come from nothing and become something. And a lot of times the odds are stacked against you, where in the United States, I think it's a system that since its onset has been rewarding to that entrepreneurial spirit. And the energy here is like, you can do it, you can change the world.
My grandparents had come into Ellis Island, both of which were Italian immigrants. They set up in New York City. My grandfather and his cousin had opened up shop in Chelsea, right on 8th Avenue, and developed a company called Petrocelli Electric, which ended up becoming the foremost electrical engineering and contracting company in Manhattan for 70 years, and maintained all of the traffic lights throughout the 5 boroughs, and most of the civil projects, such as the airports, the bridges, the tunnels, the World Trade Centers, the inventors of the timed traffic light. So when you get up 10th Avenue and you're like, wow, that was fast, it's because my grandparents had decided they were in a rush too.
Yeah, I was born in Los Angeles, but my father came to the United States in the early 1970s. His passion and what he had done in his native country of Iran was in the field of fashion. But my father did something very different. Not only did he not change his name from Bijan to be, I don't know, Barry or something like that, he started a company called Bijan, and he put it on billboards, and he's put his face next to it on the billboards, and he was smiling. What he thought gave him this opportunity and what he thought was so integral to the success of this business and his passion and his idea was the United States.
Hearing the story of, not just my ancestors, but so many Americans who went through Ellis Island, and the experience that they had, the journey that they took to get there, and the kind of determination and optimism that they came to America with. And to me, I think it's very tied to this feeling of entrepreneurship, which is core to who I am, and just this idea that you can make a fresh beginning and you can start something from scratch that really motivates me and feels so genuine about America, and I'd say New York in particular.
If you look at the top 100 most valuable tech companies, everything from Google and Amazon kind of on down the list, over 50%, I think it's like 56% of them have a founder who was a first or second generation immigrant. It does seem counterintuitive, but in sort of a weird way, it might be intuitive. Like when you try to do something great, you're going to run into adversity and you're going to run into problems. Look, I started a business myself within the last year and a half, 2 years, and I've seen it firsthand. And it's not easy, and I don't care where you come from or how well trained you are or what kind of family you came from or what kind of country you came from. These things are gonna happen. It comes in life. And if you've been tested, then I think you're more likely to put some steel in your spine and take it head on and say, this isn't gonna phase where I'm going. Nothing's gonna stop me from getting there, wherever there is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Daphne Oz, chef, Emmy Award-winning television host, New York Times best-selling author.
Nothing's going to stop me from getting there, wherever there is.
Hi guys, thank you so much. Thank you to Nasser Kazemini. Thank you to Murat Koprulu. Thank you to my father, Dr. Oz. Thank you to everyone who made this event what it is tonight. It's your first effort, and I think you've set the bar way too high. You should have taken it down a notch. I can't imagine how this event will continue to grow and blossom and make you all so proud. I am moved beyond belief listening to the stories everyone has been brave to share tonight, the testimonials we've heard here. And it's lit anew in me this proud feeling I've had about what it means to be an immigrant, the heritage that I feel as an American, to bring that history with me. I think about my father's father, who grew up in a tiny dirt poor town. I mean, no paved roads, nothing in central Turkey, and worked his way through scholarships up to becoming a doctor. And when his mother walked him to the airport and put him on a plane, she went up to the captain's sort of area, and you can imagine how different it is than it is now, and said to him, "Now listen, this is my son. Fly low and slow to the ground." And, you know, it's funny to us, and it's insane to think about the fact that she was putting her prized possession on a plane, one of 13 children, many of whom did not make it to adulthood, on a plane knowing she would not see him for 5 years, not be able to speak to him, no phone call. I mean, it was just, we cannot undersell the fearlessness that so many of our ancestors showed. I think there are two things I'd like to highlight that I think we can all be very proud of, and it is the fearlessness and it's the faith. And these are two things I think are hard to come by now for a lot of us in this room. Fearlessness that we can take the risks, that we will land on our feet, that we have that opportunity, and faith that it will pan out, faith that we will be welcomed with open arms that Lady Liberty represents for us all. And I just want to say thank you again for bringing us all together here in this room at such a pivotal moment when we are so proud of our ancestors. Let's make our children very proud too to be immigrants, and the children of immigrants as well. Thank you so much.
Daphne Oz. While we're all listening to her, how many caught the look of pride on the face of Dr. Oz? Justifiably. Please welcome Dr. Farah Alani, foot and ankle surgeon to Healthy Feet Podiatry.
Hi, thank you again for this wonderful honor. So I am from Canada and came to the United States for school. And I thought I'd go back, but here I am because this is the land of opportunity, and of course stayed for the opportunities that New York and the United States has given me. Little story I mentioned in the little video clip, but my dad is a refugee from 3 countries, and he taught me some interesting things. He said, "Farah, you must do a few things. You must take the best of every place that it has to give, but you must also do a few things. In order to belong to that country or that place, you must give back to it. And in order to belong to the people, to be a part of the people, you must give back to the people." So here I am, fortunate. I have my own practice in Manhattan. I aim to give people back their mobility so that they can get back to their lives in a normal way, but also so that they can contribute back to the societies in which they live. So, I'm standing up here. I'm a female minority Muslim, accepting an award, giving back to people. And I really do feel very honored to be here, but also want to join you, ask you to please join me in giving back. I, do a lot of different things with our local community in New York and the United States community in the Northeast, and would love if you could connect with me and give back. So thank you.
Dr. Farah Alani, congratulations. Please welcome Encore Jane, founder and CEO of Kairos.
Good evening, everybody. It's funny. I realized as I was running into people who I've had the chance of meeting over the years in this room, of all the lists of incredible things we could say about every single one of these recipients, I think I would have forgotten the word immigrant. And that's kind of crazy. That's the incredible thing about this country, is that we come here and, like you were saying, we become American. But that's also what makes this country so great. It's that all of us, we forget, but everybody here is the child, the grandchild, or great-great-grandchild of an immigrant. And so I just want to thank the organizers, all of you, Mehmet, everybody for bringing this together, because more than ever, we have to remember we in America are all children, grandchildren, or descendants of immigrants. And so this award really is to them, to our parents, to our grandparents. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Encore Jane, congratulations. Our next honoree is Toby Petroselli, Executive Partner, LLEX Partners.
Yes, a little shorter. Thank you so much, Ellis Island Honor Society, for this award. I am honored to be here amongst all the recipients here this evening. And I'd like to dedicate the award to my amazing parents who have stressed education so much. As immigrants, they've come over and wanted to focus so much on gaining ground. And I think education is a huge element to what we've now achieved here. And I would say that out of all the people that have made a huge difference in my life, I managed to bring my 94-year-old Sicilian immigrant grandmother. And she's sitting there just to the right. And her name is Vita Amendolia, and she is life. She is life. And Grandma, I dedicate this to you. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Thank you, Toby Petroselli. Our next recipient, please welcome Nicholas Bijan, Vice Chairman and co-owner of House of Bijan.
Wow, what a beautiful award. I am so inspired to be here and honored to be here. I'd like to thank the Ellis Island Honor Society, AIS, Chairman Nasser, my mother, my fiance, Roxy. My father immigrated to this country, and he shared a few things with me that I'd like to share with you. He told me that the United States gave him the opportunity to be successful, and he shared with me a little bit of wisdom, saying, I started my career with very little. I came to this country, and look what I built. He said, imagine what you could do. And if that's not the American dream, I'm not sure what is. That you can come to this country and not only reach success in your own career, but give a better future to your children. So I dedicate this to him, and I thank you guys all again, and it's an honor to be here.
Nicholas Bijan. Please welcome Keith Agoda, co-founder and CEO of Producers Market.
Thank you very much. When I graduated from University of Wisconsin, I told my grandma that I was going to forego an opportunity in finance to grow lettuce. She told me that I was mashugana. Well, Grandma, you are totally right. I am crazy. I am crazy enough to believe, just like she did, that when we align our mind, our heart, our intention with our passion, we can achieve anything in this country against all odds. Thank you very much, and thank you, Grandma. This is for you.
Keith Agoda, congratulations to you. Next up, Jennifer Fleiss, CEO and co-founder Jet Black, co-founder Rent the Runway.
Hello, thank you for this lovely event and evening. I'm really honored to be here among so many fantastic co-nominees. So entrepreneurship to me is at its best when those who are creating the businesses are those consumers who face problems and come up with the solutions. And that means that we as Americans have a distinct advantage because the diversity that is natural amongst us means that we can come up with amazing businesses and companies and really transform the world. That has been the foundation of how I worked on Rent the Runway and in the new business. And amidst all of that, there was a founding principle of dream big and go after it, which feels like America at its core to me. That drive came to me first through my dad, who is here, and whether it was a lemonade stand that was going to be the best, most profitable lemonade stand, or whether it was running track and comparing me to other Olympic hurdlers, whatever it was that I was doing, there was no limit to how big or how high it could be. And I think that is what I would hope for all of my children and everyone, that we kind of pass the torch forward to, that Lady Liberty torch. My husband is here. He wakes up with our kids every night. I can't ask for more, but he is an amazing bedrock of foundation and support. So thank you to this amazing community that we are a part of and for the nomination.
Jennifer Fleiss. Our next honoree is Matt Getz, co-founder and CEO of Block Tower Capital.
All right, if I'm not mistaken, this is my favorite place to be standing, which is right between all of you and dessert and more drinks. So, no, but in all seriousness, this is a huge, huge honor for me. It is kind of beyond words, and especially following everything we've just witnessed and everyone we've just listened to. It's incredibly inspiring. I think all the words that anyone could say have been said. I think zooming out is a really helpful thing in a lot of areas of life, and thinking about how we've been touched, shaped, and grown through the influence and impact of immigrants around us in our lives is something that's all too often missed throughout this country by too many people. And so creating a beacon, something that's a leading light to do that zooming out, to bring that perspective, is very, very powerful. And I've been fortunate to see it firsthand, not only in my own life, family, friends, some of whom are here, but also my company. If you look at the folks that I work with, a third of my firm is first-generation immigrants, and they've expanded that to second generation. It's over half the firm. It's really, really eye-opening and inspiring. So I'm honored. Thank you. Let's have a great night. And it's great to think about this event going into the future.
Congratulations, Matt Getz. What a wonderful group of honorees tonight. I'd like all of you to stand so we could give you a round of applause. Would all of the honorees please stand? Well-deserved honors.